Here it is, guys, my window sticker. You guys have been asking me a lot about the build on this car, my options, the price. We're gonna talk about all of it right now. Before we get started today, guys, I wanted to really quick mention ProClip as the sponsor of today's video. ProClip makes the mount that you're going to want for your car. It's an extremely easy to install system that does not require any kind of permanent modification, tape, or screws. It clips in and it can be removed as easily as it is installed. It is a two-part system, meaning that it will have just the arm for the C8 Corvette that wraps around the back of the infotainment system, and then you will choose whichever mount best fits your phone to go on the front. The best part, you can actually save 10% just by using the code HPO10 and following the link in the description down below. What we're going to be doing today, guys, is talking about the build of my Corvette Z06 here. So you guys, if you're familiar with the channel, you may know there was a little bit of a fight involved in getting this car. We're not going to talk too much about that. Maybe a little bit we will, but for the most part, we're going to talk strictly about the build sheet and some of the options that you see here. So first and foremost, we're going to start with the easy stuff, the color. This is a black exterior, a 2023 C8 Corvette Z06, no Z07 package. Even though it does look that way, I did not elect for the Z07 package because I couldn't get it. It was on constraint. We'll talk a little bit more in a future video about what it is you're seeing on this car, but this was added after the fact. It is not a Z07 package. It does not have the Z07 arrow, at least not on the build sticker. Now, other than the color being black, the year being a 2023, the model being a Z06, we also have the forged gloss black wheels with the painted torch red brake caliper. Now, right beside those brake calipers is, of course, the carbon ceramic rotors. And that's where we get into our first bit of extra money. So right off the bat, the car itself has a price of around $106,000. Then we add in the fact that the carbon ceramic rotors are almost $8,500. So an $8,495 option just to get carbon ceramic rotors on this beast. Moving on from there, we of course have a 3LZ interior, which gives you a much nicer leather, much more options as far as stitching and colors are concerned. Your front view cameras, your driver assist memory seat functions, your heated and cooled leather seats, and of course the Alcantara on the A-pillars and up onto the roof. That is of course also an added cost. In the interior, we also have the level 2 carbon fiber, which is the carbon fiber that runs down the door panels as well as down the center console. That of course is going to be quite a hefty fee at $49.95, almost $5,000 for the carbon fiber on the interior of this car. Next, you're not going to notice it here in the picture, but I do have some video of the car when we first picked it up. We did elect for a carbon flash painted front splitter. This was actually added to my build by mistake on my part. I knew I was going to add all of the Z07 kit after the fact, so this was added by mistake, and it was kind of a pricey mistake. It was almost $3,000, $2,995 just for the front splitter in carbon flash. Next, we're going to move on to everybody's favorite thing, and that is a tax. So this car has a $2,600 gas guzzler fee. And this is another place that, believe it or not, I actually saved some money because the gas guzzler tax for the Z07 package car is over $3,000. So I saved myself a couple $100 by not getting this stuff from the factory. This car, of course, is also equipped with the front end lift, which of course gives the ability to raise the front end up to 2 additional inches to save the front splitter or the front bumper in general over those bigger bumps. And of course, that is a pretty hefty price as well, at almost $2,600. So $2,595 for the front end lift, just to have that ability to get out of a sticky situation, $2,600. Next, we did talk a little bit about the red calipers on the car. Those are, of course, not standard. The standard color is just a gray, and in this case, being painted torch red, yeah, you guessed it, $695, almost $700 just to shoot a little bit of paint on there. On the interior, once more, we did also opt to have the stealth interior package, which just kind of blackens out or kind of darkens out some of the bright aluminum pieces that come in the interior normally. And yeah, that was also a $600 option. While we're in the interior, you're also going to notice I have the competition seats, which again is another upcharge. Because I have a 3LZ interior, it's not as much as it would be if you had a 1LZ interior, but it's still an additional $500 just for the extra bolstering on those seats. And yeah, by the way, the seat belt that you see there, the torch red seat belt, $495 additional for that as well. So pretty much anything you do to the car after you select it is at least 500 bucks. I wish I was joking. The adrenaline red stitching on the interior that matches those seat belts, that also matches my calipers, you guessed it, $495. The wheels you're looking at now, these are, like I said earlier, the gloss black forged wheels. Because they're gloss black and not silver, you guessed it again, $495. I think you might be noticing a trend here. Any change you make is gonna cost you about 500 bucks. The engine intake. So I really wanted to make sure that it was not just your standard black intake. I wanted the red to kind of go with all the other red accents here. And yeah, you didn't guess this one because it's not 500, it's 600. Yeah, 600. While looking at the side of the wheels here, you can see I have black lug nuts. And in this situation, they're not 500, they're not 600. These were only $300 this time for lug nuts. Now, I know it might sound like I'm complaining a little bit, guys, but it's not so much a complaint as it is. I want you guys to understand the options add up on this car really, really quickly. So the car already MSRP's at 106. You can easily get that car to 150 without even thinking about it. The prices of everything, anything you check, is going to be about $500 extra, if not significantly more. So the lug nuts are one of the options that are a little less than the 500, but they're still pretty expensive for a set of lug nuts. Coming around to the rear of the car, we actually have the black exhaust tips, which are covered with a carbon fiber part from Aerolarri as we speak. But the fact that I opted for the black tips over the chrome tips, you got it. There's some more money involved. So the black exhaust tips are not too expensive. If you plan on keeping those, it's a good idea. They're only $400. Now, if you don't pay anything for those, you're gonna get the chrome exhaust tips instead. If you opt to change out the exhaust later anyway, odds are good. You should probably just go with the chrome ones because those are gonna be coming off anyway. Now, really the only other thing that I opted for on this particular car that is not readily visible is the battery protection package, which is $100 for a battery tender. Now, this is one of the things on this particular build sheet that I actually think is priced very adequately. I think 100 bucks for a battery tender is pretty good. That price hasn't changed in quite some time. Now, at the same time, it's not exactly the biggest piece of technology hardware on the planet. It's not a bad price, and it will keep this car good to go through the winter time. Looking at the build sheet here, the battery protection package is probably the best price thing on this. All right, so to recap, I wanted to let you guys know exactly what the build was of this car because I've gotten quite a few questions about it. How much I paid, what the build was, what are all the specs on it. I'm gonna run down really quick over everything else that we just talked about, just to let you know exactly what kind of car this is. If you guys are new to the channel, I want you to understand this thing's gonna be on the channel for quite some time. And I want you to know and get friendly with it, kind of understand, since this thing's gonna be around, exactly what went into it. So like I said, it is a 2023, black exterior, 3LZ interior, basically meaning higher quality leather, all the creature comforts, all the good stuff. Carbon ceramic rotors, the black forged aluminum wheels, red intake on the engine, non-Z07 package car with a front end lift, torch red seat belts, and the competition seats. So that basically sums this car up in a couple words. Now, you guys may be asking, well, Justin, what did you pay for it? I paid MSRP. The MSRP of this car ended up being just shy of $150,000. And after taxes, it was pretty close to $160,000. So if you are looking to get a Z06, an E-Ray, or any of the C8 Corvette versions out there, just know, as soon as you start checking those boxes, these prices escalate quickly. You can easily get this thing up to $170,000 just by checking a couple boxes. Hopefully this helped answer some questions for you. I am gonna have a video coming very soon of the updates as to what I've done to the exterior, because as you see the car here now, this is not stock. I have done a lot to make it look more like a Z07 package car, which is what I ultimately wanted, but it was on constraint, so, you know, all that stuff. But anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content so we can keep creating this kind of stuff for you. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will catch you in the next upload.